The story begins with a pretty face, big melons girl in running, almost dancing beneath the late afternoon light. Her name is Wakamizu Yoka. To most, she's the embodiment of grace, polite, cheerful, effortlessly beautiful. Earlier that day, Sora, the protagonist, confessed his feelings to her and she accepted. Just like that, they became a couple, official, envied. But beneath the surface of that sweet moment lies a dark truth. This same girl, coldly, shamelessly, right before his eyes, cheated on him. Sora walks through campus with quiet dominance and commands admiration with every step. When others see him with a girl like Yoka, their curiosity rises. What kind of trick did you use? They ask, half joking but envious. On the outside, Sora and Wakamezu appear perfect together, shared laughter, matching interests, and a natural chemistry. One student even mutters, "Man, I wish I had a hot girlfriend like her." Yoka giggles and turns to Sora, "Where are we going?" "Is an arcade okay?" he replies casually. The others blink in disbelief. An arcade for a girl like her. But to everyone's surprise, she lights up like a child. "I love arcades," she beams. Sora smiles, unsurprised. Of course she does. She adds brightly that she's always invited to concerts. They both really like all the same things. But Sora's smile doesn't reach his eyes. He remembers when he suggested visiting a place for light novels. She shot him down, saying not to force his weird hobbies on her. Still, he smiles, just says, "I'm glad." At the arcade, Yoka throws herself into the moment, laughing, cheering, her joy infectious. But Sora watches her like a ghost beside the machines, disconnected, observing. Her joy twists the knife. His mind spirals back to that day in their third year of middle school. He remembered confronting her with trembling hands, holding out a photo, Yoka exiting a hotel with another man. Her response was glacial. "So what?" she had said. "If you really liked me, you'd accept me. I can do whatever I want." And then the real blow: "Why were you even following me? You are a creep." He snapped, rage and heartbreak tangled in his voice as he told her to stop fucking with him. But she only looked at him with detached amusement and said, "Lame." He broke up with her on the spot. But her reply was, "As if we weren't already done." Afterwards, Sora was left hollow, ashamed. He believed that if he had any dignity, he would have walked away quietly, cried in private, and swallowed his heartbreak like poison. But that boy is gone now. The man who took his place wants something else entirely: revenge. Not loud, not messy, but meticulous, a reckoning served with a smile. By some twisted design of fate, they met again in college. But Sora is not the boy she once knew. He changed his image. She didn't even recognize him when they crossed paths, and his college friends call him by a different name now, Sora. Only a few know his true identity. This isn't a coincidence, it's a second chance. Fate dealing him a loaded hand. While Yoka laughs, celebrating her small victory over a claw machine, Sora remains still, just clapping his hands. She runs over to show him the cute toy she won. Her face is shining, making him blush for a second from the look on her face. He washes it rapidly, not believing he almost fall for the same bitch again. That's when his phone vibrates. A message saying, "Hakudo, can you do it?" He stares at the screen, then types slowly, deliberately. A faint grin touches his lips, and replies, "Yes, I've never been more grateful to you, senpai." Another buzz, the reply comes almost instantly. "Since you were cheated on, I understand. Just buy me a drink." Suddenly, Yoka leaned in, her brow furrowed in mock irritation. "Hey, are you seriously texting right now?" He blinked, then smiled. "It's my sister," he replied smoothly. "I told her not to bother me today since we're on a date." At the word date, her expression shifted. She blushed, looking away shyly. "Date, I guess so." Sora watched her closely, the blush, the stammer, the coy smile. It's all fake, he had seen it before. Still, he played along, while they wandered from shop to shop, chatting idly. Later, at the checkout counter, he handed over his card when the cashier asked if he had a membership. "Thanks for bringing me here," Yoka said, visibly excited. Sora didn't respond right away. The card in the cashier's hand clearly displayed his full name, Kasasagi Hakudo. A strange heaviness settled in his chest. He used to hate that name. It belonged to someone broken, someone forgotten in the rain while others laughed indoors. That evening he took her to karaoke. Sora put down the mic as it's now Yoka's turn. "Is it my turn?" she asked, hesitating. Sora replied, "I'm looking forward to it," offering a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes, making her face all red from shyness. Sora zoned out. No matter how bad it is, he thought, I'll have to lie and tell her she was great. Otherwise, she'll sulk. The second the music started, she sang with a kind of slow rhythm full of feelings, and Sora didn't expect this. He doesn't need to fake praising, her voice is actually angelic. What makes it worse, she sang his favorite song, the one that his old self liked a lot. Then silence, and she asked, was it really that bad, flushed and breathless? Sora had to clap, saying with a dark expression, no, it was really good. And what makes it worse is the fact that he's not lying. She beamed but quickly lined in close, her smile faded. You look a little sick, you okay? Before he could answer, he saw the gate of heaven, slightly opened. He shook his head, forcing his eyes to look away. I'm fine, it's just your singing was incredible. But this reaction made her ask again. Really? Doubt creeping into her voice. He had to say it again. Yes, it was amazing. But she asked why he wasn't looking her in the face then. A moment passed, then realization struck her. Her outfit, she gasped and tugged it up hurriedly, stammering an apology. Sora resisted a laugh mixed with anger. Her awkwardness grated on him more than her singing. He wanted her to stop talking. Throwing up a peace sign, she chirped, it's because I love this song. Cute, Sora said without realizing. She looked away, creeped, saying, is that so? Thinking he was talking about her baby maker, and in that single second his heart stuttered. He did mean it. He hated the fact that he meant it. After karaoke, they stopped for crepes. Yoka took a bite and sighed happily, then held it out toward him. Here, try. And he had to take a bite, then nodded. Yeah, it really is. But she watched his face too closely. It wasn't that bad, was it? She asked, concerned. No, it was too tasty, he replied quickly, avoiding further questions. In truth, he was tired of pretending. This girl is like a perfect trap designed specially for him. Yoka was the kind of girl who would take anybody if they smiled the right way. Out of nowhere, he asked, do you have time for dinner? There's a place I've been meaning to try. She blinked in surprise, then smiled in a blush. Sure, but you might be a little overdressed, she teased, eyeing his outfit. Sora turned his gaze toward her, unreadable, while she resumed her act again. Later that evening, the soft lighting of the restaurant cast golden halos over the tables, dim enough for secrets to feel safe. Yoka looked around, her eyes glowing, about to say something. That's when Sora cut her off, saying, I like this place. He gave a small nod, then resumed, it's not too expensive and it's easy to get to. She smiled at that, cheeks faintly pink, the kind of expression that would have once made his heart flutter. Her tone shifted, lighter, almost dreamy. You know, maybe we really are meant to be together. But now, it only made his stomach tighten. She went on, giggling nervously. You are so trendy, but you're always so serious all the time. He gave an awkward shrug. Maybe I don't know how to have fun. And yet, as her smile lingered across the table, all he could see was the memories, the expression she wore when she broke him in two, her cold indifference. Don't lose focus, he told himself. You're not here for love. When Yoka excused herself to the restroom, Sora pulled out his phone, typing to his senpai. Almost done, I will definitely win her over, so come in 10 minutes. Then Yoka returned, brushing a stray hair behind her ear, and smiled apologetically. Sorry for the wait. He looked up, expression calm. No worries. They walked out together, side by side. The chill in the air did little to cool the burning sense of triumph building inside him. It's working, all of it. I'm going to conquer this girl. Then I'm gonna dump her spectacularly. Then, like a final thread snapping loose, Yoka spoke again. I think I like you a lot. His ego rises more. I can do it, I can do it. His thumb brushed against his phone. This could be the moment. Pull the trigger, send the final signal. Instead, he sidestepped for a better shot. That's when Yoka said, by the way, I still don't have your contact info. And he says to himself, if I had the same contact info from the middle school, my plan would have failed, but I lucked out. Yoka blinked, momentarily thrown off course. Then her head rose a little. I get hit on a lot, you know, Sora inwardly sighed, showing off, shut up, ugly. But he goes with it, that's because you are pretty. She frowned slightly. It doesn't seem to bother you for you to say something like that. Yoka slowed her steps. Don't you want to know the reason for why I like you? Sora thinks to himself that, of course, it's because he's not lame, because he's a good-looking guy, but he actually says, if you want to tell me, go ahead. She laughed. You're surprisingly chill about all this. He felt the upper hand again. He was steering the conversation. Checkmate for the bitch. But she said something he wasn't ready for. You remind me of my old boyfriend. Sora froze, the world narrowed. Is she talking about me, to compare the current incessantly cheery me to the back then, or it is someone else? I wonder how many boyfriends did this bitch have, but he kept his voice steady, saying, is it because I'm handsome? She shook her head, no, not at all, you two are nothing alike. Then she sighed and resumed, he was dull, unattractive and tacky. Her words cut deeper than they should have. In a surprised tone, he said, are there any good points? But then she added, he was kind. Sora's head tilted a little. Isn't something like kindness worthless? She looked at him laughing, her voice charming. Of course it matters. She stopped walking and turned to face him fully and started explaining. On crowded trains, you let me stand next to the wall. You casually walk through the path, while I try to avoid bumping into people, but you match my walking pace. You pay attention to how well kept the streets are, so that I don't get blisters on my feet. You do all these things, don't you? Sora stared at her. He hadn't realized he had done all of that. Then she stated that, unlike Sora, her ex couldn't keep his composure. He was always fishing for compliments, and it was annoying. And actually asking for them, this was really a pain. Then without warning, she says, but I was happy. Sora didn't move. Then she repeated it with the same charming smile on her face. I was really happy. But also I did something really horrible to him, she murmured. By chance, I was photographed going to a hotel with another man, and my boyfriend saw it and accused me of cheating. He was just a family friend. I was helping him carry some luggage, that's all. But he went ahead and took a picture, she continued. I thought it was super creepy, but I couldn't tell him. She smiled bitterly. I didn't cheat, but because he thought I didn't like him anymore. Sora swallowed hard. After being confessed to, I was full of myself. I was being fawned over, so I let it happen. There was a pause. She looked up. So many. He did so many things for me, but I never told him that I like him, not even once. But I really loved him. Her voice cracked. When he said we should break up, I was mad. But later, I cried so hard I couldn't breathe. Then she turned, taking a step forward. The tears just wouldn't stop. And even now, I cry about it from time to time. Sora lowered his head, the weight of her words sinking in like nails. And that's when it broke. So what? He said, his voice sharp and sudden. She froze from the reaction. Just shut up, his jaw clenched. You don't understand. Her brows furrowed. Are you okay? She asks. He rubbed his head in frustration, voice rising. You're the one who ruined everything. Yoka stepped back, visibly shaken. Did I say something wrong? If you didn't cheat, he growled, then say that, damn it. Sora's breathing was ragged, chest heaving. Years of pain, humiliation, and shame, all boiling over at once. He wasn't playing a role anymore. Yoka doesn't know what's going on. Her face freezes from what she thinks, an overreaction. An awkward silence took over for a moment. Then, like fate opening a trapdoor, a girl approached from behind. Sorry to keep you waiting, she said sweetly, grabbing Sora's hand, senpai. Yoka turned confused, but the girl smiled, tilting her head. Aren't you gonna say it, that you didn't wait long? But Sora stood frozen, every nerve paralyzed. And then with a voice sharp enough to cut glass, oh, this is my boyfriend, by the way. Yoka's entire body tensed. The color drained from her face. She whispered, what? The world seemed to tilt beneath her. All the laughter, all the shared memories, the crepes, the karaoke, the tiny moments that felt real shattered in an instant. This whole thing was a lie. Her hands trembled. Her lips parted, but no sound came out. She was seconds away from crying. And Sora, watching her break, should have felt victory, but all he felt was shame, crushing, unbearable shame. He felt like a monster, the worst kind, not someone who had been wronged. This wasn't how it was supposed to end. But as he watched Yoka stand there, eyes wide and trembling, something inside him cracked. Regret flooded in, heavy, suffocating. Sorry, he muttered. I was planning on cheating on you. Yoka blinked, stunned, doesn't know what to say, or even what's going on. Even the girl beside him turned toward him in disbelief. Wait, are you sure of this? Sora nodded slowly. In order to make you suffer, I asked my senpai to pretend to be my second girlfriend, but I can't go through with it. Then he added bitterly, my bad. Yoka couldn't believe what she was hearing. None of it felt real. It all blurred into something nightmarish. Cheating, that doesn't make any sense. The girl, clearly sensing the emotional storm about to erupt, took a step back. This is awkward, she said breezily. Just buy me a drink later. Then, as she turned to leave, she called him by a name Yoka hadn't heard in years. Later then, Hakuto. And just like that, it clicked. He gave a weak nod, saying, I'll buy you the good kind, senpai. Yoka's legs wobbled. The confusion, the panic, it all surged to the surface. Sora, or rather Hakuto, turned to her. I know I've been pathetic, he said quietly, but sorry for being so lame. She stared at him like he was a ghost. The pieces were there, but nothing made sense. This couldn't be the same boy she once knew. Then he said it, it's over between us, for real this time. He turned to leave. But before he could take more than a step, Yoka ran to him. She threw her arms around his waist from behind, her plushie and purse forgotten. She muttered, "Idiot, I'm not letting go," with a look that scared the shit out of him. Then came the question, the one that had been eating away at her ever since they met again. Are you really Hakuto? He nodded barely, that's right. She tightened her grip and said, from Nishama Middle School. He replies, 3rd year, class 2. She hesitated, then asked for another proof. Tell me the birthday. He says, there is no way you remember that. She cut him. March 2nd. He turned, shocked, couldn't speak anymore. She nodded. The resemblance was uncanny. I thought I was being scammed for a bit, but strangely enough, it didn't feel like you were acting. That's when Hakuto's anger bubbled over. Because I wasn't, he snapped. She grabbed his hand. Then tell me, what was all this about cheating and making me suffer? He stared at the ground. Payback, he said flatly. She flinched. That's pretty cowardly. He yanked his hand away. Let go, we already broke up. But she snapped, shut up, with anger. Yoka starts tightening her hands around his arms. Just shut up, idiot, she repeated louder now. Why, she resumed, why did you move without telling me? He shrugged. I guess I just forgot, voice cold. Don't fuck with me, she shouted. You completely cut me off. You vanished. He shot back. Why would I want to talk to someone who stabbed me in the back? You could have at least said hi, she replied with more anger, but he wasn't having it. He muttered, I didn't feel like it. This conversation's over, he said suddenly. Mystery solved. All done. You should be able to get a new boyfriend soon anyway. She just clung tighter, refusing to let go, and with a trembling voice she said, I can't get a new boyfriend. He looked at her, puzzled. What are you talking about? Then she shouted, voice cracking, because you're the only boyfriend I've ever had. This made him shout, coward. Her lips quivered. No matter what you clarify, or if you were ignored, he said. The one who didn't say anything was you, his anger rising. Then he pulled his hands away from her. She fell to her knees, sobbing. Please, I'm sorry. I never cheated on you. I really love you. I swear. Please forgive me. But Haruto can't stand any longer. Her cries pierced the evening air. I'm not mad, he said finally. She looked up, her face soaked with tears. I'm sorry, but he repeated softer. I'm not mad. She collapsed onto a bench beside him, drained. The silence between them stretched into something unbearable. Then Haruto spoke, hollow and broken. I think I'm trash, a pathetic excuse for a person, the lowest of the low. He stared out at nothing. I wonder if I believed in you at that moment, would things have turned out differently? She looked down, voice shaking, unable to speak a full sentence. Then she suddenly turned to him. Do you, she asked, still hate me? Tears were still dripping from her eyes. He paused. Deep down he knew the answer. He did, because it wasn't about whether she'd cheated or not. It was that she never said anything. He had trusted her, and her silence had cut deeper than anything. To him, nothing had changed. She was still the worst, and this would be his final act of revenge. I hate you, he said, the words like poison on his tongue. Yoka, while she was smiling, tears slipped quietly down her cheeks. Then after a brief moment she said, I see, and just like that their first love ended. For the second time, they walked away from each other, this time for real. The next morning, Sora thought things would be different, that she would avoid him, pretend yesterday never happened. But what happened instead was the last thing he expected. Good morning, Yoka chirped as if nothing had happened at all. Sora froze. She plopped down beside him, dead serious. He asked, what are you doing? Half in disbelief, half annoyed. She glanced like it was obvious. If you hate me, she said calmly, I'll just get you to like me. Sora scoffed, are you stupid? Next you will say that it will work because you are kind to. But she cuts him. Are you stupid? I'm referring to romance, you idiot. Sora stared at her, his cheeks are already red. Are you planning on making me fall for you? She leaned in. This is different, I'm serious. Her breath brushed his ear. I like you. Sora flinched, but he wasn't falling into the same trap again, not after everything. Then before he could stop her, Yoka shouts angrily and repeatedly, I like you, I like you, I like you, I like you, I like you. But he turned his head sharply. I said I'm not listening, while keeping his hands on his ears to not hear. And all the lonely single losers in the room are looking at these two idiots, annoyed by the noise.